Hey class, this is Mrs. Lynn. I hope you're doing well, staying at home and staying safe. I miss you guys. I hope we can see each other soon. Well, welcome to the new normal, right? All right, so this is week 4 of remote learning. And for the last 3 weeks, we've been doing a lot of coding activities. And I haven't really shot these videos up till now, but I figure this lesson today, you might need a little bit of help. So I kind of want to go into the lesson a little bit and maybe show you a couple of levels before I set you out to do this on your own. So this week, we're learning about conditionals in Python. And again, Python is a programming language that's used pretty widely in the computer science world. So I thought during remote learning that this is a good way to introduce it to you in case computer science is something that you eventually want to get into. But conditionals, they're actually widely used in programming. And it basically is a program that you can write to make a character or whatever it is on screen to perform a different task based on a condition that you set out. Okay, so you can have your program make decisions basically all on its own. Okay. And again, it's called a conditional. You probably have seen this before in other coding activities, especially you've done a lot of block-based coding. But how you're going to do it in Python is by writing if statements. Okay, so in the first little section here, it kind of lays out the syntax, which is almost like the grammar of the code, right? So the if statement basically executes a segment of code only if a condition is true, okay? Otherwise, your program won't execute that code, okay? So here's an example or the syntax of an if statement. So if, and then you lay out the condition is true, then do this command. Okay. I think what kind of was a little confusing is that then the notes goes into a bunch of examples that you actually won't need in the levels ahead. Okay, it gets into like some examples using numbers, which is a little bit abstract. So you can actually go ahead and skip the next few paragraphs. Okay, they're kind of interesting examples. If you want to sit down and figure it out, that's fine. I remember as a college student having to write these little programs that basically are the basic calculators, right? So like if between the numbers 1 and 20, if you divide it, the number by 2 and there's a remainder, then it's an odd number. I mean, so there's little programs that you can write using a language like this, but it could be a little confusing. So what I would have you do is skip to the very end where it talks about functions and conditions. And functions is basically what you're going to be needing in this whole lesson, okay, in the levels ahead. So the function that we're going to, it's introducing you to right at this point is the has path right function. Now you don't really have to worry about what's behind that code, but it is a function that basically returns a true or false value. Okay, so depending on whether, and you'll see in the next level, the character is on a path, right, trying to reach a treasure. So if you run this conditional statement, if has path right is true, then you want the character to turn right. Okay, so basically, in the path, um, if the path turns right, okay, then you want the character to turn right. Okay, you don't want the character to keep going straight. I hope that makes sense. Okay, but you'll see. So if there's a turn in the path, and in this case, if the turn in the path is to the right, then you want your character to turn right before going forward. Okay, so that's what these two lines mean. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and go on to level 2 and just walk you through level 2. And probably if you do a couple of these levels with me, you should be able to do the rest on your own. I think it was a little bit confused to get started, but you should be able to do it. All right, so here's the character right here. And again, we want her to reach the treasure back here. And I can see that in her path, there's a couple turns. So here is the first turn where she has to turn right before going forward. Otherwise, she's going to be stuck in this juncture, right? And then here's the second turn where she has to turn right or else she's going to be stuck in this juncture. Okay, so there's 2 turns that she needs to make. But if you look at the code, this line right here tells me that we need to make this decision 9 times. And what this means, like, where did they get the number 9? Well, the number 9 is basically the step she needs to take in order to reach the treasure. So if you count with me, here's step number 1, step number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so you want the character to make the decision 9 times, okay, whether to turn right or not, right, before she can reach that treasure. So I hope that for loop makes a lot of sense. All right, so every time basically the character needs to move a step forward, you want it to turn right or not, right? So for I in range 9 times, if the path has a right turn, so has path right. Okay. What do you want her to do if there is a turn to the right? Well, you want her to turn right, right? You want her to turn right before she goes forward. So if there is a right turn in the path, we want her to turn her body to the right. Okay. And then after she turns right, she can move forward. Okay. And again, she wants to do this 9 times. So for example, in the first loop, so for I is equal to 1, so that's the first step. She's going to get here, and then she's going to see if there's a right turn in her path. Okay. Well, right now I can see there's no right turn in her path, so she's going to skip this command. This command doesn't get executed unless there's a right turn, right? So in that first loop, she's just going to move forward, right? So this turn right command does not get executed unless this statement is true. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Okay, so right now she will be here and she will move forward once. Then she, in the second loop, so when I equals 2, that means she's taking her second step forward. She's going to get here, and then the conditional statement is going to run. So does the path turn right at this point? Well, at this point in the juncture, yes, the path does turn right. So if this is true, right, it does turn right, then the character is going to turn her body right, turn right. So in the second loop, when I equals 2, this turn right command will be executed because there is a turn in the path. Okay. The loop is going to run, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more times, right? And each time, because there's no right turn in the path, the character is simply going to move forward. Okay. In the sixth instance of I, so when I equals 6, there is a turn in the path. So this if has path right will return the true value or true, right, as the value. So because that's true, then this command is going to be executed again. So the character is going to turn right, and then she's going to move forward. Okay, so let's play this code and see if that works. And I hope that was clear. If not, you can replay the video Sometimes it is harder to explain than if you just kind of did it and trial by error. All right, so let's go to the next level. Maybe. The computer is very slow. All right, so in level 3.3, we're going to have to turn left. Okay, I'm going to actually minimize my video for now so you can see the entire game screen. Okay, so my character is right here in the lower right-hand corner. And I can see by looking at the path that he's going to have to turn left at some point, right? Let's see how many steps it will take before we reach that treasure. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's an enemy there, so we might have to fire some arrows. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this character is going to have to make the decision of turning left or right 7 times, right? So for I is in the range of 7, okay, what is the if statement? Okay, well, I know that the character needs to turn left. So in this case, I'm going to use the function has passed left. Okay, now remember your brackets and your spaces because they actually do make a difference in Python. Okay, so when the character moves to the first square, the function's going to run, the conditional is going to run, right? So if the path turns left, well, we want him to turn left, right? If the path doesn't or turns left. All right, so let's write that event in. So we want turn left. Okay. Oops. Right? So if the path turns left, we want him to turn left. Otherwise, he's just going to go forward. Okay, but we actually need to add one more line in because we also want him to fire his arrows. Okay, right now there's no conditional statement that says, you know, if you see your enemy. So, but that's later on in another level. So right now he's just going to be shooting an arrow every time he makes a move forward. Okay, and that way he can defeat this enemy and clear his way towards the treasure. Okay, so again, 7 times because it's 7 steps that this conditional is going to run. If there is a path to the left, he's going to turn left and then move and then fire a shot and then move forward. Okay, so the first 2 steps, nothing is going to happen other than the firing and the moving forward. But when he gets to this step, okay, the path does turn left. So the first thing that's going to happen is this conditional statement is going to run. Okay, the turn left will be executed. Then he's going to fire a shot, okay, killing the enemy, and then he's going to keep moving forward. Okay, so watch what he does when we play run. So notice that he's firing an arrow with every step because right now there's no conditional statement that we can put on there to say, hey, like only fire when you see a monster, right? All right, so that's stage 3. I'm going to do one more level with you. Okay, and hopefully after that, you can do the rest on your own. All right, so right off the bat, if I'm looking at just my code, I see that I'm needing 2 if statements, okay? And that's because if I look at my path, I'm going to be turning right in some cases and turning left in this last turn, right? So I'm gonna need a turn left and a turn right if statement, okay? So let's try this again. So if you're doing this at the same time as me, hopefully you're able to get it before I finish typing. I'm going to take it a little bit slower so you can go ahead and put in what you think is true. All right, so if, oh, and again, sorry, before I start typing, the range right here is 10 because it will take 10 steps for me to get to this path, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 steps to the treasure. That means I have to make this decision to turn left or right 10 times. Okay, so back to my conditional statement. So the first one I'm going to write is if the path turns right, because that's the first turn that's coming up. Now, it doesn't matter whether you do left or right first, but just for my own preference, I'm going to do the right hand turn first. So if there's a right turn in the path, I'm going to have my character turn right. Okay. The second conditional statement is for this last step over here. So if my path has a left-hand turn, what do you want your character to do? Well, I want him to turn left, right? All right. And if none of these is true, so my first step, the path doesn't go right, the path doesn't go left. So the only other option is to move forward, right? So these turning right, turning left codes don't get executed unless one of these conditions is true, okay? So my first step, nothing is going to happen. Or actually, no, my first step, it is going to happen because my path does turn right, okay? But right here, this step, nothing will happen. And actually right here, none of the conditions will actually run, right? Because there's no change in direction in these two steps. Okay, so let's play that. I hope that was clear, but we'll play that and see what happens. All right, we reach the treasure. All right, I'm going to jump to, let me think. I can't remember which level has a jump, but let's see. And again, I'm going to let you, these are assignment operators. I would say, again, with this page, you can just skip it. It's really about just more about assignment operators. If you were to do some sort of program that wants to print a bunch of numbers or print out the sum of a bunch of numbers, this might be a little bit confusing to you, and I don't believe they're used in the levels up ahead. So if you want to skip level 5, you can. Anytime there's a notes page with numbers and operators, you could probably safely skip those. I do want to, this is a notes page again. I can't remember when the next level is where there's a new condition. Well, there's a lot of these little notes hidden in between. So actually, this lesson might be shorter than you think because you're getting to skip some of these notes. All right, so here we go. In this level, okay, just looking at the code, I can see that again, there's the has path right conditional, the has path left conditional, but then I see this other one called if blank, then you want to fire. Okay, so again, the available commands are down here. I'm not going to give you the answer to this level because I think you can figure it out. Okay, but there's several things that are missing that you need to fill out. First thing is the number of loops that you want, okay, for this level. So again, the number of loops is the number of steps it will take you to reach the treasure. Okay, so that's the first thing you need to fill in. Then I have a conditional statement here without a event. Okay, so you need to fill out the event here. If the path turns right, what event do you want to happen? If the path turns left, what event do you want to happen? So line 4 and line 6 need to be filled in. And then in line 7, the conditional statement is missing, right? So I know if something happens, I want my character to do to fire a shot, but what is the conditional statement that needs to happen before she fires it? Okay, and then I believe in line 9, you also need to add a line that causes the character to move forward. Okay, so when all these decisions have been made, even the firing one, you need the character to move forward, right? So what line are you missing in line 9? Okay, or what code are you missing in line 9? Okay, I hope that was helpful. Again, some of these might be a little trickier when you first get started. But you can always reach out to me through my Zoom link. The best way is probably by Zoom. If for some reason I'm in a meeting, and I have a couple meetings coming up this week, you can email me first and just say, hey, Mrs. Lynn, I'm available from this to this time. Can we do a Zoom meeting? And I'm always happy to hop on if I'm not in another meeting to help you through these levels. But hopefully with 3 levels explained to you, you can actually do some of this on your own. All right, so I'm hoping that I'll see most of you on Thursday. I think there's a Zoom meeting at 12 that Mrs. Olch has set up. So I haven't seen most of your faces since the shutdown. So hopefully I'll see you then. If not, have a very safe and healthy week. Stay home. Well, if it's nice out, I guess you can go outside and get some fresh air, but reach out to me if you need some help. All right, see you later. Bye.